pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome into the Daily Nebraskan show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. I'm Ben Drills, one of the sports writers at the Daily Nebraskan, UNL's only independent student newspaper, and I'm joined here by Joseph Meyer, the senior sports editor at Daily Nebraskan. Joseph, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. The season of love is upon us. By the time we finish this show, it's going to be Valentine's Day. So
I didn't even realize that.
One of the greatest holidays of the year, for sure. Right?
No, Thanksgiving.
No, it's like bottom 5. Got to be bottom 5.
Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter definitely.
But yeah, we've had a fun weekend for Husker sports.
Yep.
If you're one of the many people who are Nebraska sports fans and Kansas City Chiefs fans, you've had a great weekend. And I know we didn't get into much of it yesterday because there was so much Nebraska basketball talk.
Yep.
But we got to talk to Super Bowl today. So we're going to get into that. But there was some big news today that came out.
Big news, not good news for Nebraska.
Not good news. The Scarlet and Cream gives this weekend, like we saw, with a big win over Iowa, taking down Caitlin Clark, not letting her get the record, beat number 2, and the Scarlet and Cream takes away. Because today it was announced that Nebraska's own star, Jordy Ball, pitcher, is going to be out for the year with an ACL injury.
I was really surprised because it was just weird because we hadn't really heard anything before today about it. You know,
I was concerned. I had heard some stuff coming down the wire about potentially that it was more serious than people were concerned with. Nothing like official.
I just didn't think it'd be season ending though.
Yeah. It's
that's the kicker.
The fact it took so long to announce, I think, was they wanted to let her do it on her own. And this is an absolutely devastating injury. I mean, a great weekend for Husker sports, and you move right into, you get a day off on Monday of like, wow, what a weekend in sports.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tuesday comes around and this. I mean, there is something so sobering about this buildup to potential greatness, right, that we were expecting this season, and it's crashing down in an instant.
Yeah.
And I really hope there are no Nebraska softball and New York Jets fans out there. If there are any of you out there, it's an unlikely combo.
Yeah.
But if you are one of the few, I feel so sorry for you.
I mean, I don't really feel. I'm a Dolphins fan, so I don't feel bad for Jets fans. But
Jets fans, we don't feel bad for you. Apparently,
no, not
this
me.
Is an anti New York Jets show.
Sure.
All right.
At least for me.
Well, very eerily similar to the build-up.
Yeah.
Big star coming in.
A little bit different, young star college than
for my sake, this is a bigger deal because I was so I love Nebraska softball. I love covering them. It is such a fun sport to cover.
It is.
And, this season had so much buildup around it and just gone in an instant. She didn't even get to play in Lincoln. She didn't even get to lace them up in Lincoln.
That's what hurts.
It was in Mexico on a game that nobody could watch, really.
Because Flow Sports tries to rip people off.
Yeah.
But, so, the good news is, while it is season ending, she'll be able to be back next year. So it's not like she's a senior. We're never going to get to see her play. So
no,
that's
and she gets the red shirt because she
red shirt. So
it was the literal first game of the season, Ben.
Yeah. So and it could have been worse. You know what I mean?
It could have been worse, but it's pretty eerily. I know I said last week, is Nebraska cursed? And you said no.
They might be.
But again, like we saw in the 90s, you have a lot of success and you got to pay for it with 20 years of failure.
Yeah.
You have a lot of success this weekend at Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Yeah. We have to.
Heck of a weekend there.
Somebody has to die on our side to be able to.
I genuinely feel so sorry for her. Like she has attacked this offseason with so much class, so much humility, so much poise. Like she was meant to be a Husker and meant to be a leader for athletics at this, not just women's athletics, but athletics at this university.
Yeah. The homegrown kid.
And so much excitement. And to her credit, like even through the injury, she's handled this with class. She said, supporting the red team in a new way.
Yeah.
Not like, you guys don't get to see me for another year. I'll be back. I'll be better than ever. Like, obviously we know that. But she's like, hey, we still have a full season ahead, and I'm going to be a part of this team regardless.
She's not ready to write the season off.
No, and that just shows how much of a leader she is. Because I can't imagine a more frustrating thing for you to go back-to-back national championships, and then your first game back, suffer an injury, you're out for the year. On nothing fluky, just routine.
Yeah. So, I mean, to put it in context for anybody that really doesn't understand how big this is, I wouldn't say it's quite to this scale, but it's almost like if Caitlin Clark would have had a season-ending injury. Jordy Ball is literally the Caitlin Clark.
She is the Caitlin Clark of softball.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, women's basketball is a bigger, college women's basketball is becoming a bigger sport in this country.
See, that's why it's like not quite there, but it's
100%. I mean, imagine Caitlin Clark suffers a knee injury in the first game of the season and doesn't get to play. Yeah. Like, that would be a disappointment for all fans.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a lot of Oklahoma fans, supporting her. There were some really questionable message board posts that I saw. Yeah. I mean, completely classless.
There's always classless.
There's always classlessness. It even happens here sometimes, as much as, certain people would like not to admit it. But yeah, I mean, it's just so disappointing. It's crushing. You feel so much for this team. Like, this is a family. Like, that team is a family. I know you spent a season around them. I spent, the 2021 season, pretty much covered every single game. And I loved it. Like, that was still to this day probably my favorite experience covering a team, which is saying a lot because I've had some really awesome opportunities with football and men's basketball.
Yeah.
But softball is just such
it's niche,
unique environment, and it's a family vibe. You get to get so much access to these players, so many games, so much progression over the course of the season. I mean, that team is a family, and they've been together for a long time, and it finally felt like this was the season that you bring in ball, and that same core group is going to be able to really compete on a national level. They've succeeded in the Big Ten, winning the Big Ten championship 2 years ago. Again, still with most of those pieces besides the pitching. And it's a group of women that have been anticipating this season for months. I can't but help but feel for them. And it's a fan base that had become so enthralled with this idea of watching Jordy Ball pitch.
Yeah.
start in the Circle that they literally had to build more seats in Ballin Stadium.
Yep, they did. Yeah.
And I know she's very humble, and I know she's always team first, but like Jordy Ball was the headline of this season.
She was. And this is why I want to throw out this question. And again, you want to text in on the text line. We're reading them 402-464-5685. We want to hear everybody's thoughts. Joseph, I kind of want to throw this question to you. So now what? First of all, I want to know what you think the outlook of this team is now, rest of the season. And then where does Nebraska turn to now? Because, I mean, your start pitcher is out for the season.
Yeah.
And you're already a little thin on the mound. So I just want to know how this team, where they're going to turn. I really want to know that.
Right. And so I think if you talk to Ball herself and just was like, where do you go from here? She's that personality of like, hey, this is still a good team. This is a team that has returned a lot of talent and next man up mentality. They did it last year. So with the pitching, in the spirit of next man up, I thought it would be fitting to highlight some of the other great players on this team.
I mean, there's a lot of them
that we can look forward to watching this season, specifically from the Circle. The pitching is going to be the biggest question mark because you lose Jordy Ball there, right? Like,
obviously, yeah.
That was going to be the issue. Now, we know Abby Squire was already out there for the year, so very unfortunate injury.
2 blows.
2 huge blows. Abby Squire's been a very productive player over her career here.
It's depth, which is what you need for a long season.
And that one does hurt. We've known that. It's been coming down the wire for a while now. But senior pitcher Kaylin Kinney. So Kinney she's returning this season from her own injury that she suffered last year. And she just had 3 starts and only 25 innings before a hand injury kept her out for the entire year. So she's kind of similar, obviously not the big name, but she understands this, like barely getting to start the season.
Yeah.
Because you remember, you go back to last year, obviously Wallace was the big name returner, but Kinney was going to be that number 2. You lose Olivia Farrell. She had graduated, and she had been a long-time pitcher as well. So Wallace and Farrell had been the long-time, stalwarts of Nebraska from the Circle.
They were so good.
And Kaylin Kinney, waiting for her opportunity, finally comes last year, and she only gets to pitch 25 innings.
She's going to have it this year.
She's got that spot now. Like, we'll have to see how, Ravel decides to go, because she has a few options here. But Kinney's been waiting in the wings for 3 seasons. She didn't get to pitch a ton her freshman and sophomore year, saw some decent action, and then last year suffered the injury.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get to see what she's got now. Only allowed 3 runs in her 25 innings last season. Very small sample size, but solid to say the least. This season so far, she only has 1 start, and it was against Duke, who's a really good team, and she struggled a bit. But she came in relief in both of the last 2 outings and hasn't allowed a run yet there. So had a 3.46 ERA in her last full season. She only got 6 starts that year. She's going to get a lot more than 6 starts this season.
Yes.
So far, I like what I've seen from her over the course of her full 2 seasons. We won't really go into last year because she, didn't get to play much, but she sat behind some really solid pitchers in Farrell, Wallace, and now Ball. Like, she's been around the best.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how Ravel handles the pitching game for Nebraska because, I mean, for so long, it feels like she's always had, it's like she has a starter. She has like a 1A, 1B. She just relies really heavily on them. Or, last year was kind of Wallace. Like, she pitched a lot last year.
Yes.
Like, and Ravel wasn't afraid to, I don't want to say like overwork her, but like she trusted that Wallace could handle it.
And Ball was going to be that role this year.
And because she's a star. Now that there's maybe not that star pitcher on this team, is she going to have to go to more of a 3 starters, like 3 starters rotating? She usually only rotates 2 starters, then a couple reliefs. There might be 3 starters that rotate this year, which is going to be different to see. because Ravel has always had a star pitcher. It's as long as I've been watching.
Over a lot. It's been a while. It's been a lot of years. So yeah, Kenny's a blank slate. Like, she has an opportunity to step into that role. She has watched this team from the sideline. I'm sure she's hungry for it. She's sat behind, big name pitchers, and this is her opportunity to step up. So I'm excited what she can do with that. But then outside of Kenny, Sarah Harness, who stepped up last season when Kenny went down.
Yeah.
She got a lot of action that she probably wasn't going to see Wallace obviously still got most of the action, but had Kenny also been there healthy.
Harness she is going to get a lot of work this year.
Mm-hmm.
Ravel, when I after every game, I always wanted to ask, like, what are your thoughts on Harness work? Because sometimes she have really good games, but
that was what I was going to talk about. Yep.
She had some really good games, but she struggled in a lot of games as well. I would say she was, inconsistent is more of what I would say.
Definitely a lot of ups and downs.
So I'm intrigued to see if she's going to be kind of the main pitcher now, if it's going to be Kenny. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I think that'll be something that develops over the season.
Or it'll be a 1A, 1B.
It certainly could be. This is best case scenario, though, for Ravel, because you have two pitchers who aren't being just thrown into the fire unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Like, Harness has done it before, and Kenny has been waiting behind, ready for her moment.
They both have the talent.
Yes, and they're both veterans at this point.
Yeah, they have the talent. It's just, I don't think Ravel is going to be able to use them as much as, Wallace or Ball, or any, they're going to need more
You're
reps.
taking a step down from Ball as you would with any pitcher in the country.
Yes. So even from Wallace last year, you're probably taking a step. You're taking a little bit of a step back, just with how much she can do, the workload she can handle. It's gonna be interesting. I think there's gonna have to be a third pitcher in there, because I don't know if she's gonna be able to rely too heavily on just those two pitchers, on just Harness and Kenny.
It'll be interesting. Again, the bats are going to be massive, because doesn't matter who was pitching in that Washington and Duke game, and those were games you would have liked to compete in, and they just didn't. You only put up one run in 2 games. Doesn't matter who's pitching on. You could,
hitting is usually something that gets better throughout the season.
It is true, 100%.
So I'm not really concerned about the hitting yet. If they're halfway through the season and it's still a little rough, Joseph. So, do you still view Nebraska as one of the top teams in the Big Ten?
Oh, 1,000%. You look at the returning production on a team that was second in the Big Ten.
Exactly.
One of the best offenses in the Big Ten last year. Now, Big Ten is not the best softball conference, but they have some solid teams this year. You bring back pretty much all of your production. Outside of Maya Felder and Abby Squire, who got hurt.
Squire was one. I think she had one of the lowest hitting percentages.
Yes, I'm saying from your 1 through your 9, those are the only 2 that aren't back.
Yeah.
So you return a lot of your hitting production.
Yeah.
And
with another year of experience on top of it.
Yep. From a team that finished second in the Big Ten hitting last year. So this is still a team that can contend for that Big Ten championship. If we're being realistic, they're not competing for a national championship. I don't know if they were even with Ball, but again, I don't think that locker room with the leadership, she is such a leader in that position where I don't think that locker room looks at this as our season's over. They look at it as we played 4 games and we have a whole season.
Ball's not going to let them look at it like that. No, she's not going to allow this season to go to waste. She's going to see, and what's going to be so nice is even though Nebraska doesn't have a Ball or Courtney Wallace, on the mound this season, she's still there, and she's going to be there at practices helping Harness and Kenny every single day, helping them get better.
We talked about this last week. She is the quintessential leader.
Team first.
Her humbleness shown when she was at the top, and now she's stumbled all the way down to the bottom, going to have to work her way back up. Still, same person, same energy, same drive for team first. I don't know if I was at the top of my game, tore my ACL in the first game back, my first thing would be all right, new role.
Yeah.
More of a coaching role this season.
It takes it takes a special kind of person for that to be your attitude. And that might not have, when it instantly happens, that's probably not where your head first goes.
That's why it took a couple days, because I'm sure the first, as any normal human being, that would be anger and frustration.
Yes. But I mean, I'm still excited. I think this is still one of the top teams in the Big Ten. But like you said, I mean, I think the humbleness of Jordy Ball was also shown by coming to Nebraska. Knowing that Nebraska, before she came last year, wasn't one of the top teams in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska was a good team, not a great team.
No.
But Jordy Ball is trying to turn Nebraska into a great team. And she's still going to be here with her leadership. It's going to help. We're just going to, it's just the pitching concerns.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to match her productivity. You're not going to be able to match her talent. That's the unfortunate reality of the situation.
Ravel's got her hands full.
She does, but I'm still pretty confident on this team's ability moving forward. Bats are going to, Billy Andrews going to take this as like, all right, sounds like I need to score an extra run every game.
I'm interested to see what Ravel says when she speaks next.
It's going to be interesting, and I'd love to ask her some questions.
It's going to be interesting, but with that, we got to throw it to break. When we come back, we're going to get some Super Bowl talk in. We're going to be pretty long segment. Yeah, a lot happened at the Super Bowl.
A lot did happen. It's been a while, too.
So we got to cover that. All of that and more is coming right here on the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Liberty Law Group is committed to the defense of liberty for those accused and the pursuit of justice for those injured. Liberty Law Group's relentless trial attorneys specialize in criminal defense and personal injury law. Navigating the legal system can be stressful, overwhelming, and full of uncertainty. We believe in treating every client with respect, compassion, and understanding. When you're in need of legal assistance, trust Liberty Law Group to fight for you. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through February 13th is spend $40 and get stew beef for free. Plus, 15% off all alcohol and chocolates as you prepare for Valentine's Day. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
What do you think of when you hear the chocolate season? Artisan chocolates? Of course, they have the best chocolates this side of the Atlantic. Friendly neighborhood coffee shop? Yup, they're that too. A nationally recognized top-tier brunch spot. Waffle weekends, baby. And the place to grab a gift for literally any occasion? Everybody loves chocolate. See for yourself at the Chocolate Season, 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead online at thechocolateseason.com.
Think you need a new furnace due to a cracked heat exchanger? Call Bryant for a free second opinion. Might save you thousands, no matter what brand. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. We do whatever it takes.
Picture a hot summer day, sun blazing in the fields as far as the eye can see. Now imagine you're a teenager making bank, all while enjoying the great outdoors. Welcome to Nats Detasseling Inc., where they're not afraid to sweat. This summer, join the Nats team for an unforgettable experience. Forge friendships, learn responsibility, and earn money. Visit notafraidtosweat.com now. Nats Detasseling, where hard work meets good times.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Ben and Joseph still here with you.
Yes, sir.
And now we're heading into Super Bowl talk. All this talk about Jordy Ball's season-ending injury. It's kind of putting down the mood. So maybe we could talk about Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's not going to help my mood anymore to talk about a Kansas City Chiefs win. So it's been a rough couple days for me. Yeah.
I mean,
Kansas City Chiefs, not my favorite team. If you hadn't noticed, don't love that team. Picked them, though. Got it right.
You did get it right.
I almost got the score prediction right, too. I said, what did I say, 24-20?
You said 24-20. It was
so pretty close.
22. If they, no overtime, maybe it would have been, like if it would have been like.
Yeah, it was such a weird score because there were so many field goals. I don't think anyone.
Yeah.
Like 22-25. I doubt that's scoreagami, but that's got to be pretty rare score.
Yeah, so just the second overtime in Super Bowl history. The first one
in the new format.
First one in the new format. The first one very memorable with Falcons Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
This one going to be almost just as memorable in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it will be memorable for
not the same reasons.
But just the stardom and the narratives and the stars that showed out to the game and the stars that played in the game. Like, most watched Super Bowl ever, most watched television broadcast ever. I believe that's what I saw. Like, most watched TV show ever.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure we have a clip of me saying that I think it was going to be the most watched game ever.
Well,
when we talked about last week, when it was like, oh, no one's going to watch the game. Okay.
It's not true.
Congrats to the 10 of you that didn't watch the game. You missed out on the rest of 180 million of us that watched a great game.
I guarantee you every single Twitter troll that said that they're not going to watch the game, they watched the game.
Who's not watching the Super Bowl?
People that aren't NFL fans.
No, I'm saying, like, if you are a football fan and you don't watch the Super Bowl, I'm sorry, your fan card should be revoked.
I mean, what else are you going to do on Super Bowl Sunday?
Literally. Every
that's what everybody's doing.
If you have a valid excuse, fine. If you tuned into like HGTV during the Super Bowl, I would love to know what their like other cable channels viewership is during the Super Bowl.
It can't be
because if you're watching TV on 5:30 on Super Bowl Sunday and you're watching something other than the Super Bowl, it's got to be terrible viewership.
Unless it's the person living under the rock that doesn't even know it's Super Bowl Sunday. Like the 90-year-old grandpa that's.
Yeah, I guess.
But see,
but maybe that 90-year-old grandpa is a Taylor Swift fan, and this was his first year watching the Super Bowl, and that's why they broke records.
That is why the 90-year-old Taylor Swift fans. That is what it is.
They're out there.
They're probably out there. So, okay, this is where I want to go first with this.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into the actual game, Nickelodeon hosted Super Bowl along with, the actual broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you saw clips.
I saw clips. Okay. I refuse to watch that live.
Yeah. I know actual, real NFL. I don't want to say that. Nobody that's wanting to really take it seriously and watch it is going to choose that one.
Patrick Starr sometimes gave some better commentary than Tony Romo did.
Okay.
So.
That's a conversation for another day because that's a whole segment.
That's a whole segment.
Tony, okay, he was bad. But anyways, it's interesting. So what are your thoughts on, not if you liked it or not, but should should it, should this kind of be a thing where maybe it's not Nickelodeon, but like Disney, Nickelodeon, like should there always be, you think, like
It's
a kid's
cute
version?
It's interesting. I'm sure there's going to be a generation of kids that watch their first game on Nickelodeon. That's, awesome. But what I don't love is that it's forced out. Like, I don't know, like when the NFL tweets about it every 5 minutes, like, here's what SpongeBob had to say about Mahomes' play. I'm just hurt. Like when the Chiefs win the Super Bowl and I have to see a clip of SpongeBob talking about why the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, it just makes me so angry.
It makes you angry?
It just,
I feel like you were a SpongeBob hater back in the day. Why am I sensing that, Joseph?
I was not a SpongeBob hater. I just get frustrated when things involve the Chiefs.
You didn't think that, like, you 10, 12, 15 years ago, you weren't expecting SpongeBob to eventually be announcing the Super Bowl?
What do you think the odds were on that in like 2009?
I don't know.
So it's like investing in Bitcoin if you invested in that.
Yeah. I mean, I found it enjoyable, honestly.
It's cute. I think it'll be good for our next generation. Like, I'm all for growing the sport. Like, this is what our discussion was last week. Like, I don't care who you are. If you're watching the Super Bowl, you're part of this big family that we call football fans. And it's awesome. And I'm glad to have every single person join in because people talk about it.
I think it's a great idea. The only thing is, it's like, I just feel like there's so much work that got put into it. And it's like, should that resources
props to those graphic designers.
True. But should all of that effort and energy be put into, something maybe a little bit more productive?
It's superficial.
I mean, it's whatever the NFL wants to spend its money on, I guess.
They got a lot of it.
I mean, actually, NFL probably got paid a lot. Nickelodeons who had to do that. It's just the fact that, like, actual like NFL employees and stuff are probably having to help Nickelodeon with that.
Yeah, I don't know how that really all works out.
I don't know either. But
should we talk about the game?
We can.
We can.
It's not as interesting.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So, all right. So, Chiefs won 25-22
What
in
a
overtime.
surprise.
Yeah. So, the thing is, though, I did not see much Brock Purdy hate after the game. I didn't see much.
It's because people listened to our show last Thursday when I said Brock Purdy is awesome.
Yes. Everybody listened to your opinion.
That is
they
why.
Saw it. Yes. Everyone agreed with you that Brock Purdy is not a terrible quarterback.
And
he's above average.
Everyone agreed to say, hey, we're not going to blame a Super Bowl on one player. I love have you seen the memes? It's like, I got 2 tweets fired up and it's like, if the Chiefs win, like Mahomes just ain't built for it. And if the 49ers win, it's like, yeah, Purdy's carried by his team. Like, you could have an opinion either way and shape your narrative, but it was refreshing to see there wasn't a lot of Brock Purdy slander. I thought he played pretty well. He didn't play fantastic. He did mostly what was asked of him.
See, the Christian McCaffrey fumble early hurt, but no one's gonna blame CMC.
There's that one, but then Pacheco has one too. So
they kind of cancel out. The muffed punt is probably the biggest. That was probably the biggest turning point in the game.
No one really was talking about it. I got to be honest. I mean, because it happened kind of early in the game, and there was a lot of, I wouldn't say controversy, but a lot of big memorable moments at the end.
Yeah,
that's forgot. Like, the Chiefs were not able to put a drive together.
No, like that play, in my opinion, is what turned the tide of the game. Like, the 49ers had I don't want to say complete control, but they had control of the game.
It was very Nebraska football-ish.
Yes. And so she's just waiting for the 49ers to mess up. That's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah,
it
was the Chiefs Mahomes did throw the one pick, but the Chiefs don't mess up. Like, their mistakes rarely cost them. It's incredible.
Yeah. I mean,
we are genuinely watching. I don't want to say, like, I know we're entitled because we think that our era of football is the best. But I grew up watching the greatest quarterback, the greatest football player of all time. And until I'm 40, I'm going to be watching the second greatest football player of all time, in my opinion, which is insane.
Yeah, see, I'm going to be entitled. I'm going to sit up here and say that I am.
Right back to back.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with people that got to sit through. It's very reminiscent of, people that got to sit through Jordan, and then, like, not very soon after, it was LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Kobe in between those two.
Yeah, but I feel like even with that, it's like there's been so many great players. Like, those are clearly number one, number two. There's been so many great players in NBA history, though.
Yeah.
But, like, quarterback play has been at its finest over the last 20 years. And
well, it's because how the passing game has evolved.
Like the game has evolved. Brady found a way to exploit that and win at an alarming rate, and Mahomes is doing it even faster. Three Super Bowls.
It's crazy. See, I don't want to be like every other sports talk person and say, oh, Mahomes is better than Brady or Mahomes. I don't even want to ask that question because I think it's kind of a ridiculous question to be asking right now.
And it's going to get worse over the next, like,
it is.
You think Jordan and LeBron debates are bad? If Mahomes wins 4 or 5, it's going to be horrible.
See, but the thing about the Jordan and LeBron debates is they never play each other. Mahomes and Brady played each other. Brady almost in the retirement home, playing end of his career. Patrick Mahomes,
had a great defense.
Coming like right. Okay, still, Tom Brady got the best of Patrick Mahomes.
Right, and I agree with you. Like, we don't want to have this debate. Like, I just want to appreciate
both
the just villainy that these two quarterbacks have done to the rest of the NFL over my lifetime.
It's crazy. See, like, because I was never a Tom Brady fan, but that wasn't because of him. It was because he played for the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
See, like, I don't like LeBron because I just don't like him as a player. Tom Brady as a player, I had nothing wrong with him. He just played for the wrong team.
Okay.
I'm a Dolphins fan.
See, that's the thing. But then you also think about it this way. Me and you, we both...
We're very similar because you're a Chargers fan. I'm with Patrick. See, now...
So, I can't like the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And by proxy, I cannot like Patrick Mahomes. But he is fun to watch, fun to follow, fun to talk about. And he's going to win. I picked the Chiefs in the last 3 games of the playoffs, and I rooted so hard against them.
Can we just take a step back? How did the Chiefs win? It's ridiculous because the 49ers, like, I will stand here strong saying 49ers were the better team.
They played the better game for almost 95% of it.
See, okay, another thing we need to touch on soon, maybe not right this instant, is apparently 49ers didn't know the overtime rules. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, Mahomes is inevitable. The Chiefs are inevitable. I am in a situation where now it doesn't matter how good my team is. We're in the same division. We're never going to win a Super Bowl because Mahomes is going to win all the Super Bowls.
Okay, he's not going to win every Super Bowl.
That's what I said the last 2 years, dude.
Okay, he's not going to win. If he wins the next, like, 8 Super Bowls, he would be better than Tom Brady.
Okay, yes, but they are going to reload, like,
so easily.
Kelsey and Chris Jones are really the only veteran pieces that they're really going to lose.
To be honest, as much as everybody thinks that Travis Kelsey is this, like, I mean, he's one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight end ever in NFL history, which I would think Rob Gronkowski is a better tight end.
I'd still take Gronk.
And, I mean, even with Gronk, that, I just feel like it doesn't matter. Even if you would take those two off the team, I just really
You take Tyreek Hill off the team. Like, Travis Kelsey, I think, is more important to the Chiefs' success than Tyreek Hill was. But Travis Kelsey had a few big plays in that game. He's a big decoy, but I'm never going to sit up here and say, once Travis Kelsey's gone, this Chiefs team is gone.
No.
I'm not even going to say once Andy Reid's gone. Like, as long as they have Patrick Mahomes.
That's a little bit more.
I agree with you there. Reid has done an incredible job, and he should be up there with the great GOAT debates of coaches. Because I think coaches is a little bit different when you look at rings, because you have to consider the players they've had, because they don't necessarily get to choose that sometimes. But yeah, I'm never going to count Patrick Mahomes out ever again. I did it 2 years ago. I did it last Super Bowl. I didn't do it this time, and it paid off for me. And I was right. And it hurt. I've never rooted harder for a team I was cheering that I picked.
See that's just interesting because in my opinion it was a win-win for you because either your pick was right or the team you wanted to win won. It was a win-win.
I just love Brock Purdy.
I know you do. You need to chill out a little bit. He's not that great.
He'll be back. He'll be ready.
See, okay.
All right, let's talk about this overtime thing. Yeah, completely cool. There's no way they practiced it. There's no way they practiced it because, to be honest, I thought that it was the 15 minutes if the game's not tied at 15 minutes. If there's no time constraint, there is 0 point in taking the ball first.
See, when they took the ball first, I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, what are you doing? All you're doing is making it so the other team has 4 down territory pretty much every single time.
Mm-hmm. And you can't do that because then if you miss on 4th down, now they go down and kick a field goal and you lose.
So the 49ers take the ball first. They actually have a decision on 4th down. Do we go for it? Do we kick field goal?
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs,
instant.
49ers kick a field goal. I guess there's a little bit of a decision if, 49ers kicked the field goal and it would have been 4th down and the Chiefs would have been in field goal range. Do we kick it to, tie it back up or do we go?
Yes.
That would have been like the only thing. But like still, you're putting less pressure. I mean, you're putting more pressure on it if you score to say like, okay, they have to score, it's done. So there's more pressure in that way. But like still, you can't give Patrick Mahomes 4 down territory pretty much every time.
Yeah. So here's my take that I haven't seen a lot. Obviously, the 49ers messed up by giving them ball first. Clearly, they didn't know what they were doing. I question even some of their play calling down the stretch. Like, you got to score a touchdown there. Mahomes is going to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
My take is once that game went into overtime, it was a Chiefs win. Because
that's interesting. I didn't view it that way.
Because you can change the overtime rules
all you want.
You can change everything about the way the game is played. You can't change that dog mentality in the Chiefs locker room. They were going to win that game. Think about it. 49ers go out, down, score a touchdown. Chiefs get the ball, go down, score a touchdown. They go for 2. They get the 2. We know how this plays out. Let's say 49ers give it to the Chiefs first. Chiefs go down, score a touchdown. 49ers come back. We scored a touchdown. Great. You respond with another touchdown. Mahomes is going to score that 3rd touchdown and go down and win the game. Because then it turns into
only need a field goal. Or I guess I don't.
Yeah, I think then it becomes sudden death after that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's maybe one advantage of taking the ball first.
I just think Mahomes doesn't lose in overtime.
See, maybe that's the one advantage of taking the ball first is,
that is the advantage.
If each side scores the touchdown, then next.
But not against Mahomes.
No.
Mahomes is going to score every time he gets the ball in overtime. I'm sorry. He is.
It would take a freak incident for it to not happen.
They got the ball down 3, and I'm like, it's over.
Oh, yeah. When 49ers kicked the field goal, it's just like...
It's over.
You knew the Chiefs were going to get at least a field goal. At least a field goal.
Yeah.
There was no way the 49ers defense was stopping them. For nothing.
And it started to struggle to stop them down the stretch anyway.
Yeah,
the Chiefs were finally figuring out how to move the ball down the field. There was no world where the Chiefs lost that game once the 49ers kicked that field goal. And it's so unfortunate. One last thing I want to get your opinion on. As a Dolphins fan.
Oh, boy.
The Chiefs won that trade, right? They had to have won the trade.
No.
They got 2 Super Bowls.
They didn't get the Super Bowl because of that trade.
Rashee Rice and Trent McDuffie came from those picks. 2 of very, very important players 2 nights ago.
Chiefs would have rather had.
You save $120 million?
I don't care. They would have rather had Tyreek Hill. Do you know how? See, I watched pretty much every Dolphins game. You don't know how bad the Dolphins look when Tyreek Hill is not on the field.
Oh, he is a generational player.
See, that's why it was a win-win trade in my opinion.
But they saved $120 million. They got a bunch of picks, 2 of which turned into Rashee Rice and Trent McDuffie, who were arguably some of the most important players in that game. And they won 2 Super Bowls.
And still going.
Do you think the Dolphins will ever win a Super Bowl with Tyreek Hill? Be honest.
Not with Tua. I'm sorry. I like Tua.
I don't think any AFC team can be confident. That they're ever going to get one.
Okay.
Even the Bengals, even the Ravens.
The problem with the Dolphins is Nebraska. I just said Nebraska. The Dolphins now, their budget is tight. Like, the Dolphins have no spending money. So they can't improve the team except like through the draft.
Yeah.
And the Dolphins have been trading their draft picks like crazy.
Tua's going to have to make a leap.
Yeah. He's going to have to turn into like a top 8-5 quarterback. And even then, you see the Bills, Josh Allen's probably the second best quarterback in the league.
Like, if you're a Bills fan, do you genuinely believe you'll ever see a Super Bowl with Josh Allen? I don't.
They would just have they just have to have just
someone's got to win a Super Bowl at some point other than him, right?
I mean, if anything, I think it's more likely that an NFC team beats the Chiefs than an AFC team.
Because you can get one game with them and get lucky in the NFC playoffs and get one game and have a fluke, which the 49ers almost did. I won't say fluke, but like at this point, beating Mahomes in the playoff is kind of a fluke. So you can get to the Super Bowl and have that one game where you beat them.
Honestly,
to believe you can go on a run through the AFC playoffs at this point, if you don't have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, I don't feel confident.
See, okay, who do you think has the best chance? Last question before we throw it to break. Who do you think has the best chance out of all, not just teams? I just want to say quarterbacks. What quarterbacks can rival Mahomes? Because everyone keeps saying Josh Allen. I think it's Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow.
I'm concerned about first the injury thing with Joe Burrow, and I'm concerned about their cap issues. Because sounds like they're going to franchise tag T. Higgins, which means you're going all in for this year because you can't franchise tag T. Higgins twice. You're going to pay Jamar Chase big bucks. You can't pay Joe Mixon.
See, the thing is, I feel like we've said the same kind of things with the Chiefs, though. They're not going to be able to keep Chris Jones. They're not going to be able to blah,
but
blah,
Mahomes doesn't get injured.
I think that Joe Burrow, he had a freak ACL injury early in his career, and then this was just a lingering injury. It was very similar to the Justin Herbert. It was a different injury. Obviously, Burrow's was calf. Justin Herbert's was rib. But Justin Herbert was dealing with that injury the entire season.
For sure.
So it's like if he would have just taken a month off, 2 months off, he would have been fine. But, the Bengals couldn't afford that. They had to keep playing him.
I like Joe Burrow.
I think he's a better
Lamar Jackson. I really love Josh Allen, and I love Justin Herbert, and I don't love Tua. But
ouch.
I can't. I think it's going to take like a Josh Allen 5 touchdown game to beat him at some point.
But okay, again, I'm a Dolphins fan, so I'm obviously a Josh Allen pessimist, hater, even though I still think he's a top 3 quarterback in the league. I'd rather have Joe Burrow. But Josh Allen has always had the turnover issues. Not this year as much, but in the past, Josh Allen's kind of a turnover-prone quarterback, in my opinion. I just think Joe Burrow.
He's the only one that's been able to do it so far.
Joe Burrow, in my opinion, is the closest we have to Tom Brady right now. And that's the kind of quarterback.
Someone's gonna do it. Someone's gonna have to do it at some point.
Because Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. You can't out you know what I mean? You can't out big play Patrick Mahomes.
But they scored 25 points, including overtime, and won in the Super Bowl. Their defense is so good.
But the Bills,
who's going to stop them?
But I'm saying AFC. There's no AFC team that has that kind of defense.
To be completely honest with you, if Mahomes made the next 4 Super Bowls, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I'd be a little
if he
surprised.
lost, if he wins the next 2 of 4 Super Bowls. And loses 2 to NFC team.
I wouldn't be surprised with that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd be surprised if he makes the next 4. If he makes 6 straight Super Bowls, we're witnessing something truly something we've never seen.
I genuinely would not be surprised.
Okay. I think Joe Burrow is the best because Josh Allen, as much as I can hate on Josh Allen, he's not Patrick Mahomes. As much as Bills fans want to think Josh Allen is Patrick Mahomes, he's not Patrick Mahomes. Okay. He's just not. I'm sorry. He's not. Same thing, Dolphins. Tua is not a superstar quarterback. He's a really, really, really good quarterback. He's not a superstar quarterback. He might even be a pretty darn good quarterback. He's almost great. He's not superstar, though. And that's the problem with the Dolphins is you have to get so much talent around those kind of quarterbacks. Like with the Brock Purdy, the problem with the 49ers is in 3 years, when they're going to have to pay Brock Purdy, or 4 years, whatever it is, then you're going to lose more of the talent around him. You can only pay superstar quarterbacks. You can't pay middling quarterbacks. You just can't do it unless you're the Lions and you have a super young team.
Yeah,
and even then, it didn't work for
if
them.
if I'm gonna put it all in, I'm gonna put it all in on an NFC team, just because I think Mahomes is gonna rule the AFC for the next 10 years. Got to be honest.
All right. Well, I hope you as a Chargers fan suffers like I had to as a Dolphins fan. With you have Patrick Mahomes in your division.
Been
I have
suffering
Tom Brady.
for 6 years already. It's been terrible.
All right, we got to throw it to break. When we come back, we're going to finish up with other Husker sports talk with Olympic sports, rifle, gymnastics, wrestling, all of that. Kind of just want to recap how
Big wrestling week.
Yeah. Just want to recap how they did over the weekend. All that more is going to be right here on 937 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
If you want all the latest technologies from those big banks, but you also want that hometown feel when you walk in the front doors, choose Midwest Bank. They have top-notch technology. They make banking so easy, and they also have the friendliest staff who will take their time to get to know you and treat you like family. You get the best of both worlds when you choose Midwest Bank. I live on the go, and now I can bank on the go. With Midwest Bank, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I'm volleyball player Allie Batenhorst, and at Midwest Bank, you'll love banking here.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go. Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today. Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through February 13th is spend $40 and get stew beef for free. Plus, 15% off all alcohol and chocolates as you prepare for Valentine's Day. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Ever feel judged at the gym?
You don't know how to use the leg curl machine? Are you serious? Is this your first day alive? No, it's okay. I love helping people during their first day on Earth.
At Planet Fitness, get energy without the judgment and join the judgment-free zone. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Get energized today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for $1 down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, February 16th. See Home Club for details.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Stop giving your loved one the same chocolates every year and spice it up with the chocolate season. Who wouldn't appreciate handmade chocolate-covered turtles, artisan chocolates, brownies, cheesecake, fudge, caramels, bread pudding, and chocolate-covered strawberries? Should I keep going? Make the day of love special for you and your loved one you cherish the most. Get your one-of-a-kind gift that is for sure to make that person feel ethereal at the chocolate season. Located at 3855 Village Lane, next to the Williamsburg Hy-Vee, or order online at thechocolateseason.com. Get your one-of-a-kind gift today.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back into the Daily Nebraskan show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. It's going to be a really quick last segment. Rapid fire. So we just kind of want to talk over, some of the Olympic sports. First one I want to touch on is wrestling. Just if you kind of want to take on that.
Huge week for them. Killed Michigan 25-7. A bunch of upsets.
It's number 9 Michigan.
Yeah, a very solid win. Moved up to number 3 in the rankings. Penn State this weekend, number 1 versus number 3. Nebraska's higher than Iowa for the first time in a long time in these rankings. Don't think they have what it takes to beat Penn State, but if they did, that means they are genuinely in it for the national championship, which is weird that they're not in it because they're number 3, but Penn State's just that good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you had Devaney was packed. I think it was like the 3rd biggest crowd they've had for wrestling. Biggest one of the night, Jacob Van D. He's number 19. He beat number 4 with a late escape, and the whole crowd just went nuts. It was awesome. It was one of those just heartfelt moments for the Husker crowd there.
So yeah, wrestling, good weekend for wrestling. Unfortunately, Nebraska men's gymnastics does not have the same success against Michigan. It was number 3 Nebraska for men's gymnastics against number 2 Michigan. Nebraska lost 408-399. Men's tennis lost to Arkansas 4-3. Women's tennis, though, beat Montana 7-0. Pretty convincing win there. Women's gymnastics lost by 1 to Maryland. Ranked number 24. Nebraska ranked women's gymnastics team lost by 1 to an unranked Maryland team. So that's kind of a tough loss. Obviously, men's basketball beat Michigan, but then men's tennis beat Gonzaga 4-0. Then women's basketball with the biggest,
that was awesome.
Yeah. Beat Iowa. Number 2 ranked Iowa. Caitlin Clark goes down. Nebraska gets home and is Caitlin Clark is not ever going to play Nebraska again.
Could play in the Big Ten tournament
unless they play
or
Big
the
Ten
NCAA tournament.
That okay, but like regular season, this could be Nebraska might have the last laugh
until she makes massive money in the WNBA. Like I wouldn't be surprised if she makes one of the biggest contracts you've ever seen.
She's gonna have she's gonna have the last laugh for career wise. But I'm saying more Nebraska, Iowa. Nebraska has the last laugh. This is like the final year for Caitlin Clark, really for Iowa. Final year for her legacy in Iowa. This could kind of does a stain in it a little bit,
and maybe because I believe Nebraska women's basketball plays Ohio State on Wednesday. I believe they're back up to number 2 in the same pool.
If they also pull that off,
back-to-back number 2 wins would be insane for Amy Williams. After we talked a couple weeks ago about the team struggling, they bounced back with the win over Michigan, move right into a huge win over Iowa, and has a chance to solidify, pretty high seed in the tournament with the win over Ohio State at Ohio State tomorrow.
If Nebraska beats Ohio State tomorrow, I will come on the air and I will apologize publicly for even questioning Amy Williams' job security at all in any aspect.
You might already have to do that after that Iowa win.
I don't know.
That was pretty awesome.
I still, I'm not saying I never said she should be fired, but I'm just saying
you're walking on thin ice here.
I was not wrong for saying, she hasn't really done much. It finally happened.
This
Iowa. This is what
that was signature.
This
signature
is the year for Nebraska women's basketball. This is the year. It feels like
Yeah, Jazz Shelley, Player of the Week.
Yeah, national.
National Player of the Week.
Not Big Ten.
No, National Player of the Week.
All of the nation.
International Player of the Week.
All right, we got to end the show. You're listening to the Day One Nebraska Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We'll be right back here 11 to 12 tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art